Melcifer is experiencing a lull in conflict, which means he has to deal with the tedium that comes with managing a nation at war and putting up with complaints and supply shortages. He appoints a butcher to help optimize the sacrifice to plate process of the meat, decreasing the waste. He also sets up some rat catchers for both sacrificial and nutritional purposes. Fortunately, Hannibal brings word of poachers in the Blum Wood, murdering the forest sentries. They prove a pleasant if brief distraction. One of the intruders is captured alive and turned into a phantom to haunt the manor grounds and serve as a warning. Sometime later, a travelling alchemist comes to town. He stays for a few days, peddling his wares, and leaves an overall good impression on the people. Before he leaves, he visits Melcifer in his home and tries to assassinate him. And that is the story of how Melcifer got his first ghoul. Unfortunately, the assassin used foul poison, but with Lilith's treatment and the winter gods watching over him, Melcifer survives. Melcifer's most loyal subjects, horrified that their lord and liege is on death's door, gives of their life so that Melcifer may live and make a quick recovery. Will Melcifer replace his trusty elk mount? How will Melcifer prevent further assassination attempts? With the winter gods watching over him, can Melcifer ever be defeated? Let's find out now on Dicing with Death.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dicing with Death. Ryan, how you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
I am mostly good, aside from the blasphemy that we just heard about the winter gods.
Even I was laughing.
Pixie Mixie and Ashfires, we love you so much, but I and the viewers, of course, are thrilled with your betrayal of our trust. But
yeah, even I had to admit the winter gods. No, we survived that by draining the soul of our poor butler. It's always the butler.
There are no winter gods. Everyone
servant
don't exist.
Lord Rosegrove made a sacrifice of his own life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, how's your week been? Your 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Your many weeks?
Yeah, we had last week off. Pretty good, yeah. Quarter has wrapped up. On to spring break, I suppose. Or
is that this week?
Or catch up on writing, as I like to say.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say? Is that...
Are you on spring break now, or does it start?
I think so. This is finals week, but I'm done. I'm done.
Nice
with this quarter. So on to the next. On to
cool.
Catching up on other things. It's 70 degrees yesterday, so I think spring has sprung on the West Coast. Although it's already cooling down.
70 is quite warm for.
Yeah, it was a preview of summer.
Let's hope so.
Yes. I was just testing the cam lag by gesticulating wildly and looking over my shoulder, and indeed,
it's lagging.
It's lagging. Science.
That's right. You can just say science after anything you don't understand, and it's fine. Not to say that you don't understand cam lag, but just the nature of people throwing around the word science cavalierly these days. It's going to get to high 60s here in Colorado next week. That'll be nice. We're going to go to Steamboat Springs over the weekend to go check out these hot springs there. Got a cousin that lives in the area.
Do you boat in the hot springs? Or is the hot spring itself a steamboat?
No. There is steam coming from the springs, and sometimes I make boat sounds in the water, but that's about as close as it gets.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other than that, I wrote Greg Hansen, a short story about someone that is being sent to tax a red dragon. And it got wildly out of hand, and I need to make some slight edits to it so I can release it to y'all. But it's a wonderful story, and I stand by it.
I am out of the loop, but I look forward to reading it.
There's no loop. We just didn't have a shenanigans, and we were joking about having
was that week where you couldn't get a cast together?
Yeah, we had some people, but they all bailed at the last minute. Yeah. So it's a story about Clementine from the Mistrayan Revenue Service, sent to go tax Scoria the Red and help the kingdom make some more money. But through clever accounting, the kingdom ends up owing the dragon more money. It's the long and short of it.
That's amazing. Is Greg the inspiration for the hero of the story?
No, we were just shooting the shit, and it came up like this. Yeah. It's pretty solid. Wow. Yeah. I didn't mean to close that. Shit. I closed it. It's too late. Anyway, let's pick up into game. Where are you?
Malcifer Winter. I think is safe and sound in his estate in Winter's Reach.
That sounds reasonable.
Having recovered from his poisoning eventually. Let's right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're the DM.
Yeah, that's where we are now. It's definitely where we are.
Yeah. Should we let's see. On my token here has 11 HP. So I think we're several days or like recovering from bed rest.
There we go. There's our background music. That's what we're missing.
Feeding off the lifeblood. Blood of the
innocents.
Oh. No, these are blessed people of the winter gods, aren't they?
Are they not also innocents?
No, they're these are my most faithful subjects, right?
Okay.
My closest advisors and confidants.
Those that would be willing to shed their own blood to save their lord.
Isn't it all really the blood of the winter gods? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Right. Yeah. Let's take a look. Yeah. So we all heard the recap.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely none of that was news to me or us.
Nope, we remembered every bit of it.
We remembered every bit of it.
Never confused.
Yeah. I'm going to do a little bit of spreadsheeting here while I check. Because there were, I think some fake news was distributed about my zombie elk. Did I do something dumb with it?
Did your zombie elk die?
I don't think so. I think it was, I don't know. I do have this ghoul assassin.
Maybe they're just talking about replacing the zombie elk with a skeletal centaur.
Elk is alive. Yeah. So I think we're just recovering here at the estate.
Lovely.
Am I right?
I believe you're right. And I believe some amount of time passes. Easily. How much time do you want to pass before your next action?
I think, we'll want to at least get healed up, rested up.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of days. And then, and then what is the next action? Do we crank on the soul, on the soul train?
Well, it's been...
raise some more,
Yeah. It's been about 3 months in game time since Malcifer started his nonsense. So you've been just flying through this campaign.
There was some talk about I don't remember I think in the disco about where we're going with this. We are now level 6, right? So I'd say we're about halfway through all the content I'd hope to see from a necromancer, assuming we don't die. Yeah, so we've been tearing along, leaving a swath of destruction. Raised villages. Vile pestilence in the Blumwood.
Yeah.
Doing evil.
You're just correcting the course of history that has gone astray. You know? You're bringing your people back under the rightful rulers instead of those damn foreigners that came and stole your land.
So, yeah, I think days trudge on, and Mousefer recovers, and Winter's grasp on this southwest portion of Gadia, I think, is just gonna tighten.
Okay. Well, we can tick the days by. Let's go ahead and skip 10 days, because nothing's going to happen in those 10 days.
Okay, so I think after the initial blood sacrifices, blood transfusions, what have you, we'll just naturally heal for a couple of days, back up to... when I think my spirit armor got taxed too. So that's like another 5 HP.
You must pay the spirit armor tax.
Yeah, 10, 11. Yeah, we need some more. We need some more transfusions. So and these don't need to be willing, even, do they?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. So let's send a volunteer or someone into town to gather volunteers to make sacrifices to the winter gods.
Gather volunteers?
Yeah. Seems like a task for Hannibal, no?
Okay. You can send Hannibal out
isn't an enforcer. This would have probably... We need Freddy. We need Freddy back. I forgot. That's one... We did see that last time, right? Freddy imprisoned in Pine Spur, and the what do they call those companies? Are the 3 companies of infantry?
Yep. Those are the ones you know about, but most certainly there are more military units spread throughout the Blumwood or throughout Gadia.
Okay. So how does this, how does the, how does it go? Do we get any volunteers?
You do. You do. Let me roll a die here. Hannibal collects all the hunters after a few days, because, you know, they're scattered about, and brings them to you in one big convoy. Now I say one big convoy, but it's like 10 people. And they arrive standing behind Hannibal, who presents himself as the first volunteer.
Yeah, so by now, Mousefur is back on his feet, right? So he was bedridden for a few days, and he fed off of Rose Grove, and I think Lilith, and Tomas. Maybe not Tomas. Was Tomas chicken about it? So by now, Lord Winter is up on his feet and probably we're meeting somewhere spooky, right? Where this isn't like in the. I mean, the estate itself is pretty spooky.
The estate is super spooky. It's got like ghost inspectors cruising around in
out
it.
in the woods or something, and under moonlight. But this old this old creaky. I don't know. I want to say like Victorian. It looks like a Victorian manor, right? Mm-hmm. This old creaky estate here in the Winter's Reach.
Mm-hmm. So how much life do you need to drain from each of these people?
I think there's more than enough if they've gathered all the hunters, right? If I spread out was there some benefit to taking it all from one?
Yeah, you have to recast the spell for each person you want to drain.
Yeah. So I'll probably spread it over 2 because I'm guessing 1 isn't going to have enough life force. I would like to gain at least 5. I need to get 11 total. Yeah. So where in the estate do you think this would take place? I was originally thinking like, mouse first back on his feet. We'll do it somewhere spooky, like out in the woods or the.
Well, let's take a look at the estate. Where is the estate? Here it is.
Here it is. Is that yours voice?
No, I just have a pencil in my mouth because I was writing and now I guess I could just drop it. That's fine too.
It's a huge lawn. What's a creepy necromancer do with this big lawn?
Well, I think part of it is we said the orchards are outside of this, right?
Yeah.
Or
should they not be? I mean,
maybe they should be within the confines.
This is all the orchard. Maybe this is all those orchards, like, because this is like
it's pretty big,
100 feet, right? Even if all this was orchards, that's like acres of.
Yeah, it's 900 feet on a side, so.
Yeah, so I think all this back here must be the old orchards.
Okay. Yeah. And then otherwise, you just have like a nice large estate for walking around on. Maybe there's a pond on one side that we haven't drawn. There's probably like a fish pond over here that I'll doodle for us.
Mm-hmm. What's it like in the tower? There was like a library on the second floor. It was like an old boarded up living quarters, wasn't it? For the crazed Lord Winter, the husband to my necromantic forebear.
Yeah, your grandmother's husband. She made him this tower and tacked it onto the house once upon a time.
Can we cycle through the floors?
Yes. Yes. This would be the second story.
Ooh, spider webs.
Mm-hmm.
Show Tim.
Back to the ground floor. Show Tim, everyone. Show Tim.
And then was there a basement beneath it or a bedroom above it? There's
a third floor which is not shown on the map.
Okay.
Yes. I think the third floor is what has been turned into your library, right? I don't see a library anywhere else. Yeah, I think the third floor of that tower is the library. We haven't spent much time looking at it, though.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a library so much as like maybe like an attic. Like it doesn't necessarily need a map floor, right? It's like a little storage nook for these piles of creepy necromantic notes from.
Right.
Grandmother's attic. And the ground stone floor was that just like a basement beneath it, or there wasn't anything? It like just sticks off this. This is the ground floor right here. It's only accessible from the second story. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty empty. There might be some like remains of furniture lying around, but it hasn't served a purpose in a very long time. Then I guess depending on time of day, whether I'm resting in the lounge or somewhere on the estate.
Okay.
Probably Hannibal will show up with what is that big blue thing? The big blue blob.
What big blue blob? Oh, that's the pond.
Oh, I've got a pond?
We just said you've got a fishing pond. Yeah. I think there should actually be a small island in the middle of the pond.
Dang, Rosegrove is getting more creative with his landscaping. This is impressive.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get some like stepping stones. No stepping stones. It's just a pond. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. How many are in this group of hunters? I guess I can check
8.
my.
Right?
Yeah,
or 10? 8 or 10?
Plus 8, and then the 9th is Hannibal.
Okay, perfect. So Hannibal arrives with 8 in tow.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
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 And you want to drain them one at a time?
Yeah, I tell them, something on the order of, an attempt was made against the life of the Lord of Winter, and this is an affront to all of the citizens of Winter's Reach. As the hunters of this, of our people, you often make sacrifices for the betterment of the whole of the Winter God's kingdom.
Hannibal says, "We are aware of that, my lord. That's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
How can we be of service?"
You must make your sacrifices to the Lord of Winter, and I will proceed to wrench HP from Malsifer's subjects.
All right. It's one casting
it takes one
per person,
year, right, to cast.
I think so.
Is that where is this on this red sheet? Rain life 1 year convert. Okay, so I pick one of the. Hannibal's already done this, right?
Perhaps, yeah. So you can start with one of the subordinates.
And okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was a touch ability, but like you didn't necessarily need to like cut them open. You could kind of just like pull blood through the skin.
Yes, sort of like a cloud of bloody mist forms around your hand as you drain their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does this hunter resist or?
He winces, but he otherwise, consents.
Yeah. So I think Malsifer puts his hand on the guy's like shoulder, neck, and maybe the guy starts off standing up, but as his HP is drained, he's eventually forced to a knee. So I think I'd pick up,
Drops down as
the biggest, furliest one of them, right? Most efficient. Although I don't have a direct way to gauge their HP without like blood testing or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and start draining. Can this channeling be interrupted by anything?
No lifespan is an ability of yours. By tasting the blood of a living creature, you know its natural lifespan and how much HP it has and how close to death it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can get an understanding, I think, of their life. Like as you're draining it, there's that little bloody cloud, and maybe Malsifer just takes a lick of it. He can't resist himself, and you can properly drain these people's life without accidentally killing them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you drain. one after the other until you are at full.
How many will it take, I guess? How many do I get out of the first guy?
Average hunter HP is going to be 6 or 7. Maybe one of these people has 8 or 9. So if you start with the biggest, burliest guy, he probably has 9 HP.
So I'll drain 4. 4 from, let's say, 11 would get me to 15 of 22. So okay, so then on down the line, right? And I think did they take a knee right from the get-go?
No, they all start standing and end up on the ground.
Eventually forced to kneel before the Lords of Winter. And the next one, how much HP will they have?
He'll average 6.
3,
they'll all have 6 from here, so.
Okay. So 3 will be to 18. So there's 2 guys. So I think we're going around the circle. Dark deeds. 21, and then the last. Oh, okay, so we've done. I'll do one. Let's see. Okay, so we've got. I think I'll just drain one guy into unconsciousness. That's fine. I'll save this. The year is probably worth it. All right, so that was 1 guy, 2 guys, 3. Okay.
You drain them all, Ryan. You drain them all.
I'm doing math to keep my soul and life force spreadsheet even. All right, I'm going to drain 4. The last guy I need an extra HP from, so I think we'll drain him and stabilize him to 0 or maybe -1, depending on whether he had like an even or odd number of HP or something like that.
Okay.
So that will be enough to get me from 11. So
you can't drain them
HP.
past 0, actually.
Oh, you can't drain them past 0.
No, you can get them to 0, but not beyond.
All right, I will. I got greedy there for a second. I've also got time to naturally heal. So that will bring me to 21 of 22. And so 4. So only half of them made sacrifices this time. But I guess now they've all seen.
Yes. And as you sort of like stand up, refreshed.
I'm not done.
Oh.
So I'm going to tell them that their sacrifice has not been in vain. For the Lords of Winter will now bind your life force to protect this kingdom or whatever we're called, this people, and I will conjure a spirit armor, cast a spirit armor, ostensibly using their life force to power it. But at this point, I mean, it's all really my life force, isn't it?
At this point, certainly.
So we conjure a spirit armor, and maybe there's some visual, right? Maybe it's in the guys' heads, but they probably think they see their themselves projected as a spiritual warrior protecting their lord, for us, like a vision of the spirit armor, and it probably flickers away. I don't think it's super visible unless it's like popping up and deflecting, like interfering. But yeah. So we drop down to 16. Conjure a level. We're level 6 now. A level 6 spirit armor, but it's based on fraction of HP. Yeah. So
right. This is the necromancer version of fractional reserve banking. You take a portion of your HP and you invest it in something that'll absorb more HP, giving you more hit points to play with, thus growing the life economy of your small town.
And I will rise, and if Lilith is not, she's probably, I don't know what the chances are that she's at the estate, but I will send Tomas or Rosegrove to fetch Fetch
Lilith.
As a matter of fact, I can send a skeletal warrior, can't I?
You could.
Right? They're smart enough to obey.
Yeah, they
command,
don't. They won't understand the concept of Lilith's house, but you could say, like, walk down this road until you get to the crossroads, which would be town. Take a right until the 10th house.
To, show them in advance, right?
Yeah, I think you just have to be careful in the way you articulate the directions. But you know Lilith's house very well and your town very well, so you can give them explicit orders down, within 10 feet, basically. Yeah. So to get to Lilith's house is not going to be a problem.
Yeah, so I think the revivified mouse fur just strides out of this parlor, leaving the collection of hunters, like, I don't know, wheezing for breath on the floor here. And I'll go out to the porch and find a skeletal warrior around, and send them for Lilith, if that
sure.
Direct them, go to this direction until you find the hut. If there's a woman there, turn around and escort her back here. Actually, we're just scratch that. Go this direction. Go to the hut, and if there's a woman there, come turn around and guide her back here.
Perfect. Excellent.
And she's marked, right? So they will.
She's marked.
More or less
I think almost everyone in the town is marked. You just have a few of the people on the edge.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So off you go.
Yeah.
Or it goes. And sometime later, Lilith and the skeleton return. The hunters have all shuffled out of the house.
Oh, I wanted Lilith to care for the hunters.
Oh, well, then they're waiting around for her to come back, for her to be here.
Unless they were trying to, flee. I think Lilith would come in after and apply her healing proficiency so they can recover
Perfect.
optimally. We still need a source of souls, right? And that's got to be the Eridonian invaders, right?
Well,
perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we need to root out any Eridonian presence nearby. We're gonna sit back. We've got resources to raise more spears. So Winter's Reach is gonna bide its time. Thanks to our sacrifices, we've sped things along. So I think we'll jump back into the raising 8 a day plan. And then I guess just seeing what the news is. So I'm looking at McTackey's map on the wiki, and we've X'd out a bunch of villages. I mean, I guess it's the.
I see.
It's your map, but he's got all these villages marked.
Right.
Oh no, you've got dead villages, right? So this is just.
I've marked the dead villages and the county lines. Yeah.
And those dead villages, several of them were ones that we sacked, and the people just fled, and so they were abandoned eerily.
Right.
Others were abandoned. Right.
Right. You raised some, and some were fled. This one was fled, most notably.
Does that mean the population of all of this region is about 250? Is the only remaining village in this corner of the Blumwood Winter's Reach?
Yes. That's
okay.
Surely
so I think
these two places
is coming to Malcifer as these over the course of these days.
Well, Malcifer, are you going to finish it?
Finish what?
Gathering the Western Blumwood, Western Gadia.
Yeah. So I think Malcifer is going to be content to sit back and I guess we always get interrupted, but until we've got current resources raised. Raised, right? It's in Razor
Okay.
Spear.
So how long is that going to take you?
So-
We have 10 days that we've just gone through, which you can also use.
Yeah, so I've had this pile of 97 corpses that I've wanted to get off my lawn for a long time. So let's turning through that. Zombies take years of life, so I think skeletons are the way to go. We've already got...
Yeah, you've got a whole bunch of chickens, and I think every time we do this, we're like, yeah, you've got
that's
enough
weird,
chickens to
right?
do this, but then you get interrupted. So as it stands,
I
you
was
have...
commenting on the recap how past Ryan was doing a good job setting up all the rat catchers, chicken breeding program. What was the other?
I think it's just importing of animal resources from other towns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have more than enough supplies to raise anything you want.
Don't tell me that. Let's at least have the warriors flay these corpses and turn those 97 corpses into 97 skeletons.
That'll take about 11 days, which you can do.
Okay. You said 10 before. And
11 is
spent a
close
couple
to 10.
healing.
Yeah.
There's no time here in Gadia. Winter just crawls on for an eternity. But even in winter, it's quite temperate here on the coast. 97 corpses. I'm going to delete those and make 97 skeletons.
97 skeletons. It is so. The skeletons have been raised. The time passes quickly.
Yeah, so we need to arm these skeletons. So in the same time frame, we're meeting with the Fletchers in Winter's Reach and saying, "What's up, guys?" Right. So I don't think it comes all at once. So it'll be, I guess, each day it's 8 at a time, right? Showing up to the Fletchers and saying, "All right, and to the tanner, the leather worker, whatever, and saying, "All right, have you sorted through all the scraps?" Right? Because we've been bringing in and piling up these resources. At some point, I think we may run out, or like production will lag behind. I don't know. What have we got to? I mean, clubs work too, right?
Clubs are fine. Yeah, you can just use
fine. Quarter stabs,
old
any
broken
sharpened
weapons.
spears.
You know, you can use even ruined weapons, just something better than their claws.
Yeah. This 97, I think, will be. So this is basically the first company that we've raised, and over the course of 11 days, they'll be, I guess, lined up near town, outside of where the tanner and the Fletchers and whatever is working, and they'll probably slowly be getting up. So there will just be 97 skeletons standing rank and file at attention, waiting, getting outfitted, right? So these poor tanners and skinners are like basically just like loading their work straight onto gathering up from this pile of scraps and dressing the skeleton army. Putting
And
sticks in
depending
their
on
hands, sharpening sticks as they go, and so probably, yeah.
And depending on their
progress.
personal work ethic, this is either the greatest time of their life where they can work all the time and have it be immediately put to use for something obvious, or it's the worst time of their life because they have to work all the time. So I think you got a mixed, happy, grumpy population.
I didn't say it was good work. All right. So 11 days. We assemble our first company.
How many skeletons does that bring you to now?
There's a couple different. So there's 55 skeletal spearmen, and then about on top of that 100 rank and file. So another 50 in the roses, and then maybe another 30 higher level skeletal warriors.
Perfect.
And the zombie monsters in the woods. What a time to
Just coming and saying goodbye.
Yeah. What a time to say goodbye. And the hunters,
What about them?
perhaps emboldened by their sacrifice, are continuing to range the land, right? They're keeping watches and various and they were even training the populace to like sit in a hunter's, like be like, hey, you sit here in a hunter. Was that not a
I don't think that was a thing.
No, so these poor guys they're basically working shift work.
But this is what they prefer to do. You know, they're woodsmen at their core. They prefer to sit out in the woods and do their own things.
And life goes on, or death goes on. I don't think there will be any aggressive moves out of Winter's Reach for the time being. Once the army is starting to come together, quite obviously now, right?
Then what?
Oh, I was wondering what happened to that alchemist's cart. Did anything interesting come of it? I mean, I guess it's just probably relocated to Lilith's, and
yeah, I think she takes
maybe has more supplies as a result. But
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, you have your skeletons. You have an army. You are at full HP minus whatever you have lost from spirit armor, because that can't be replaced until spirit armor's gone. Right? That's like a hold on your HP. You have new abilities that you haven't tried out yet because you're level 6. You haven't
mostly. What do we? Let me check what our level
You've got
6.
Poltergeist, Hold, Essence, Hold, Person, and Reverse Healing at 6.
Yeah, the hold person is interesting, but pretty specific, right? It's like setting up with a mirror to trap someone in the mirror.
Yeah.
Reverse healing. That's like a. So we've got the greater skeletal warriors, and we've caught up most of the lower level abilities and seen them at least once, I think. Poltergeist could be fun.
Holy strength, and feast, personal sacrifice. Yeah, we've seen pretty much
that's
everything
you can like
full
make
step.
and just have hanging around, right? Poltergeist, blah blah blah. It takes 5 years, and they have a number of HP equal to what you give up.
Yes. So at least one, but you know.
So you do permanently give up at least 1 year, or sorry, 1 HP to do this.
You lose 1 HP. It's not like a hold on your HP, and it doesn't come from your max.
So there's nothing particularly special about this other than the sacrifices. And then, so could we retcon that this poltergeist was created out of that life force when we did the ritual with the hunters? Like this, right? I mean, would that have been as that seems like a more auspicious time to have conjured this thing.
You've got a lot of time, and a lot of things could have been made. So this could have been made at the same time as you were joining the hunters.
Right, and maybe Mousefor only comes to notice what he created in the weeks that follow. But I guess so. I think we'll only want one HP seems the way to go, right? Otherwise, because you permanently lose that HP, right?
No, this is just regular HP drain.
Oh, so I could have.
You could create a 20 HP poltergeist, and in 20 days you'd be back at full, or you know.
Oh, that's what I should have done with the spirit armor instead of the spirit armor. So like get to full, raise a 22 HP poltergeist, and then raise it again. And what is the? Oh, but now, see, because now I've got a spirit armor up, and I can't make a 22 HP poltergeist.
But also, like, a 22 HP poltergeist doesn't really have much help to you, right? You just need 1 HP so it doesn't die.
You make HP a resource, and we're going to min-max it.
Okay, all right. Well...
I think it's... we'll catch it next time, because that does feel wasteful.
Okay. Where is
we can... So let's say... what's a more reasonable HP to make it? Right, because we'll have healed back in this time, correct?
Yes. Yeah, the poltergeist basically is a ghost that can move shit in the real world, but it's bound to a location, like a building or a specific object.
Oh,
that
it's not bound to me. It doesn't follow me.
No.
I thought
it's bound
it said
to a
that
place. Okay, so the original poltergeist was bound to you. The updated poltergeist is bound to an object or a location.
Okay, that's why I wanted this high HP poltergeist to follow me around in battle.
Yeah, do it. Bind it to a rock and keep the rock in your
pick up
pocket.
and move the rock?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's bind it to my axe. No, that's the way to go. So I guess that would make this a more probably deliberate ritual.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So are you going to summon a poltergeist?
Yeah, we're going to summon a poltergeist. So I'm going to sacrifice the years. What was the... how are the reviews on the first blood sacrifice?
How does the town reviewing it?
Yeah, how are the Yelp reviews? Was it this...
Well, there's a problem here, is that how does a lord ever learn the true feelings of their people? Because if you talk to them, they're going to give you whatever they want you to think about them. So how would you ever get an accurate review of your people's opinions? This is not a hypothetical question. This is a practical question, because it can be done.
Yes. But, will it?
I don't know. Do you want to?
Let's see. I mean, I guess people aren't knocking on my door offering their HP. That's not the world we're living in.
Right. Door-to-door HP salesman.
Mm-hmm. But only half of the hunters actually sustained HP damage.
Oh.
So we'll all summon the hunters once again, like sometime later in the week.
Okay.
To do a poltergeisting ritual.
They return.
Yeah. Do they all come, or is it just the ones that aren't recovering from the last wounds? I guess
They all arrive. Okay. Hannibal leading the way. You can see that many of them looked pretty spooked as they arrive back at your place. While they are sound of body, there is like a weariness to them as they arrive. Willingly, but still, they look like soldiers who have been on the front line for a little bit too long. You know?
They need to feast on more meat.
What are you going to let them feast upon?
Humanely, sustainably harvested in sight of the gods of winter.
Are you talking about a phantom feast?
No, I'm not talking about a phantom feast. Okay. That seems like an act of desperation, or at least deep symbology. No, I'm talking about the butcher and all the meat.
Oh yeah, well, there's lots of that going around.
Okay, so we gather another. I don't even know what you'd call this dark gathering, but so the 10 of us gather by the flickering firelight. There's a bear pelt, so the hunters are right at home, right?
One of them probably hunted this bear themselves.
And I think Mouseford probably muses to himself more than the men that in times of war such as this, it is the Lord's duty to call upon his banners. His battered banners. His battered banners, right?
All right.
And the soldiers of winter must serve.
Hannibal.
And so the four that didn't make sacrifice, maybe not all four, those that didn't make sacrifices last time are now going to be expected to.
Hannibal will step forward, being the first one to offer himself, and this time instead of standing next to you, he will just drop to his both knees and bow his head towards the floor in front of you.
And I think here Mouseford takes the bardish, the executioner's axe, off of the mantle or whatever, like sits above the fireplace. And so he unshelves it. Do we get a reaction from the hunters as they see this?
Hannibal's got his eyes closed, so he doesn't see anything. A few of the others stand up a little bit taller. One takes a step back. There are a few draws of breath as they see you reach for the Bardish.
And Malcifer hoists this two-handed executioner's blade on his shoulder and circles around to flank Hannibal. It probably looks like he's setting up an execution, but he just presses the blade of the Bardish into the back of Hannibal's neck and drains some HP through this. And bloodies the blade in the process. We're gonna use the axe as an object for this poltergeist. What is that? To chain my spirit. So I guess I'm recovering the HP from these guys that use it, but it's got to be my own that gets used.
Correct. When you hit level 7, you can directly siphon their HP to your spells. But for now, you'll have to use your HP to create this, and then use a drain life to replenish your own.
Yeah. So I guess what everyone would see is Malcifer. I guess just So flanking Hannibal with the Bardish, and then draining his own HP into the blade. Right? And then I think is it always visible, or can it go in and out of ethereal?
It starts ethereal and it can phase in when you want.
They're ethereal, but can shift up to 75%. And does that mean they only take 75% damage? Affected by physical attacks. Or they can at best drive it back into the ethereal plane. Okay.
Yeah, they'll take damage and then just become ethereal when the damage is taken. They function a little bit differently. It's not quite like a person being phased. Yeah.
Yeah. So what seems like I guess I might as well go with a lot of HP and just recover it. Right. That's why I brought the hunters here. So unfortunately, I've already got my spirit armor up at this point, so I don't have my full 22. I'm just going to be working at a 17. I guess we'll fix it later.
So you create a 16 HP poltergeist, and then you're going to drain 16 HP from your people?
Not quite, but over the course of time. Right, that's the min-max approach, right? You make a 16 HP poltergeist. Is there any reason to?
Maybe you don't want to be on 1 HP.
Well, that's what good old Hannibal's here for.
All right. Well then, you create yourself a 16 HP poltergeist.
I'm so greedy, and so Malcifer basically just. It must just look like they see his spirits split, and his.
I imagine it sort of pulling itself out of your back is like a phantom illusion of Malcifer, this ghostly Malcifer looking creature that and
as it separates from Malcifer's physical form, he's just left drained in response, right? Sucked within an inch of his life, and he hangs limp, barely, the axe sinks in his hand and cuts into the back of Hannibal's neck. And I think, Hannibal bears the weight of the axe blade as he blood drips down back of his neck as he slowly over the two damage around. And in this way, his energy is spiritual energy is given off, a call to the winter gods, lords of winter. And how many HP does Hannibal have?
He's your lead hunter, so he's probably got the most. Let's say Hannibal's got 10, but you've also drained him fairly recently, didn't you?
I can't remember.
Oh, but it's been 10 days. Okay,
and
so he's up full.
By a healer, right?
Yeah. So he's up full by now.
Okay.
So this
He has
this
how
is
many? 10?
10 total. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll drain 4 from him. Sorry, 8 from him, so 4 HP for me.
Right.
I'm gonna 5, and then I think we'll go around everyone that wasn't drained last time.
Okay, so that's 4 more people, each of which have 6 HP.
So we can drain 2 each. Can't do 3 each. We don't want a bunch of unconscious people hanging around, or is that fine?
If you drain
Have them-
4 from them, you'll get 2 from them, right? So 2, 4, 6, 8 more HP for you.
It's right. It's probably easier if they can walk away.
Yeah. So you get what do we say? 8 and 4. So you get 12 back.
Yeah. So it'll bring me up to 13. 5 more years of draining, right?
Yep. And then there are the hunters that already gave up their sacrifice a few days ago
I
and
think
have
it's fine.
recovered
So
HP.
Malsifer's at 13 out of 17. He can heal
Okay.
naturally for a few more days.
Sure.
But now everyone in this circle has.
They've been touched by the wizard.
Not a wizard, a necromancer.
I'm sorry. By the spellcaster. Right. Why don't we take our first break here? You've created a poltergeist. You've raised a full company of skeletons. You've recovered all of your lost HP. You've developed a pond. And we're gonna
credit there to Lord Rosegrove.
right. We'll come
Props
back.
to him. Masterful
on-
landscaping.
We'll come back on the other side of our break and see what Malsifer is going to do with his newfound poltergeist and company of skeletons. I believe it has something to do with conquering territory, but we'll find out. On the other side of our break, bye-bye.